Welcome along to the Japan National Stadium for the J.League YBC LEVAIN Cup Final. This competition began way back on the 23rd of February, but after 68 matches, it has been whittled down to the final two. Cerezo Osaka versus Sanfrecce Hiroshima. The Cherry Blossoms looking to win the trophy for a fifth time in their history, against Sanfrecce Hiroshima, who are looking to put their name on the cup for the very first time. Cerezo only winning the trophy once, though, since 1984, so don't doubt that this would mean a lot to them as well. Neither side used to winning it at all regularly. As you can see, pre-match formalities very much in play for this. As you would expect, it is a packed out, sold out National Stadium. Capacity of 68,000. And there wasn't a spare ticket pretty much anywhere in the build up to it. 30th edition of this competition going back to the early 1990s. Goy Grampus, the holders, didn't make it this far. Rematch, there will be a minute's silence though, in memory of Matsuda Kudo, who sadly passed recently at the age of just 32 years old, the former Sanfrecce Hiroshima player, passing on after brain surgery. Our condolences go in particular to his wife and young daughter who survived him. The player who had stints abroad with the Vancouver Whitecaps in the MLS and Brisbane Roar. Playing for various Japanese sides, including Sanfrecce, Anthony Yamaguchi, Cerezo, and most recently Javajiro Miyazaki. Tributes coming in for Kudo from right across the world. Moment to glance at the Cerezo Osaka side. But Riku Matsuda and Tokomo Suzuki have scored of the outfield players for Cerezo in this run to the final, with Satoku Uejo missing just one of the 12 games across the run to this point in things. Came through 5-1 on aggregate in the semi-finals against the Urawa Red Diamonds. There's two players in the lineup who are not Japanese. Matej Jonic, the Croatian centre-half, and Jim Hyun Kim from the Korean Republic, who's in goal. Takuma Suzuki at central midfield and Riku Matsuda at right back are the only two players, apart from, of course, the keeper, who've not at some point scored on the run through to reaching this stage. As for Sanfrecce Hiroshima, they're in a 3-4-2-1. Only Sho Sasaki, the centre-half, and Taishi Matsumoto, the defensive midfielder, are the two players, outfielders, on this team sheet, having at some point got their name on the score sheet in the run to the final. Yuki Nagami at right wing back continues his run of having made an appearance in every match in the competition so far. fantastic to hear this stadium drop so quiet in memory of Masato Kudo. The words of the Vancouver Whitecaps was loved by all that had the pleasure of knowing him. Kind, gracious, and a smile that would light up the room indeed. Those sentiments from the United States of America very much echoed by those in Australia too as well. With the Brisbane Roar confirming that they'll be wearing black armbands to honour Kudo in their match today against the Western Sydney Warriors. Sudo Kudo, who four times I should say, for the senior Japanese international side as well, scoring a couple of goals. Brisbane Roar coach Warren Moon saying in a statement, like everyone else at Brisbane Roar, I'm deeply saddened by the news overnight that our former teammate, player and friend Sato Kudo has passed away. Such a wonderful personality. Always turned up to training every morning with a beaming smile on his face. He will be greatly missed. Our hearts go out to his wife and young daughter. This our sentiments very much follow that. And it is now for these players, particularly for some of these Sanfrecce Hiroshima players, will be even more difficult. Got to switch their focus back on to what is in front of them, which is a showpiece final. Various players in this 11, teammates of Kudo during his spell with Sanfrecce Hiroshima. And the Cherry Blossoms desperate to win this competition for the 5th time in their history. Sanfrecce Hiroshima have never had their name on the cup. These sides neck and neck in the league in terms of how things look there. With not long left now, just 4 matches left as both sides battle for AFC Champions League qualification for next season. Sanfrecce Hiroshima in 3rd, Cerezo Osaka in 4th. But this, of course, is no ordinary league game. This is the YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN Cup Final. You're very welcome wherever you are across the world for it. Kick-off mere moments away now. Respective coaches, Akio Kogiku of Cerezo and Michael Skibby, the German boss of Sanfrecce Hiroshima, have done, to a large extent, all they can do, really. So will now be silence in tribute to Matsudo Kudo.
個人の日本サッカー界における功績を称えるとともにご冥福をお祈りし哀悼の意を込め黙祷を行いたいと思います。皆様ご起立ください。黙祷。皆様お直りください。
Emotions at play, very visible there. An incredibly poignant moment with tribute for Matsudo Kudo. Just 32 years old. Shirt hung up in the Sanfrecce Hiroshima dugout. I'm sure there'll be somewhat of a sentiment to do it in his memory. Kudo, of course, once plying his trade for Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Various clubs in Japan as well as abroad with the Vancouver Whitecaps in Canada, I should say, in the MLS, and Brisbane Roar in Australia too. So attention turns back from the pre-match tributes to Matsudo Kudo onto the business of a final. Cerezo Osaka against Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Both of these sides have had to do it the hard way. This is game 12 of a long campaign for both of them that started in late February. Had to start at the group stages. Were not one of the 4 teams who, due to their AFC Champions League commitments, were able to enter at the quarter-final stage. Going through that 14 group stage into the playoffs, and then the 2-legged playoffs followed, of course, into the quarter-finals and the semi-finals. Brought us here to this moment. Sanfrecce Hiroshima trying to get their name on this trophy for the very first time in their history. They've been beaten finalists previously, losing 3-2 in the final to Cerezo Osaka back in 2014 when they were 3-2 up. Cerezo Osaka trying to add a 5th trophy to their collection as Jin Hyun Kim is tested straight from the kickoff. Tall Korean Republic goalkeeper relatively comfortable with that one. Speculative cross in. Alive well by Morishima. Away from Toriumi. Try kindly for Karamura to keep it. Away by Yamanaka. Cerezo Osaka winning this competition in 1973, 1983. And then again back-to-back in 84. To wait until 2017 to lift the trophy once again. Beaten finalists last season, losing 2-0 to Nagoya Grampus. Confirmation of your refereeing team today. Yamamoto is your man in the middle, with video assistant referee technology available for the big decisions, goals, red cards, all the kind of major incidents that you're used to seeing. Upstairs for further checks if necessary. On the channel for Morishima to chase against Jonic. He goes safety first. I'd say Jonic, the only non-Korean outfield player in the Cerezo Osaka 11 today. Now a chance for Cerezo on the break. A little bit of space out here for Maikuma. Maikuma's pullback and wide. Encouragement for those Cerezo Osaka fans early on here. Sanfrecce Hiroshima caught pretty exposed at the back. Just didn't really catch the shot cleanly. Won't be surprised to know both sides are pretty similar in terms of their starting 11s to the ones that got them to this stage from the semi-final second legs. Looking back at the 11 for Sanfrecce Hiroshima when they drew 0-0 at Avispa Fukuoka home against them, having won the away leg 3-2. If you look back at that team in late September, Shifumi Kashiwa was in their starting lineup that day. He's on the bench now. Same can be said for Douglas Vieira. They are the two changes from that team. Seen Ben Khalifa, the Swiss striker, getting the nod. So here come Cerezo once more. Lovely little ball in, shot on the turn. Only half blocked. It's still there for them here, though. And while offside was called, little breakaway this from Cerezo Osaka. It's Kato's ball inside, linking up with his strike partner. They're finding a way, Joe. Keo Kogiko on the touchline, in charge of Cerezo Osaka, appointed in 2021. He's made manager after previously being an assistant across multiple spells. Up against Michael Skibby in the dugout. He took charge of Sanfrecce Hiroshima in November of last year. This is his first full season in charge. He's previously been with Al Ain in the United Arab Emirates, as well as a short playing career, and primarily building up his coaching CV in his native Germany. So we have got a video assistant referee check ongoing here. If you're wondering what the delay is, and eventually get back underway. A bit of a nervous moment there for Kim. Osaka nearly finished in the biggest way possible for overplaying at the back. There's been plenty of goalmouth action in this first 7 minutes or so. Back for Cerezo Osaka. Look to build from the back for Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Sanfrecce Hiroshima knocked out in the group stages last season after finishing bottom of their group with just one win from 6 pool matches. It's been a very different story this time around, though. Won 4 of their first 5. Group B, which meant that by the time they faced Shimizu S-Pulse in the final round of fixtures, they were already assured of progression. She did lose home and away to Shimizu S-Pulse, but still ended up winning their group with 12 points from 4 games after victories home and away against Nagoya Grampus, which international viewers might remember as one of the more recognisable names in Japanese football due to their association with the legendary manager Arsene Wenger. And then Sanfrecce Hiroshima also beating Tokushima Vortis. 1-4 on aggregate in the playoffs against Hokkaido Sapporo. 3-2, 5-2 on aggregate, I should say, against the Yokohama F Marinos in the quarterfinals. And then they won 3-2 in the first leg of the semi-final, and a goalless second leg against Avispa Fukuoka. Did the hard work with the 3-2 win away from home, game in which they were 3-0 up. Pass cut out, didn't reach Karamura. Now Maikuma just bumped off the ball by Karamura, who used his physicality and strength really nicely there. Lots of space out here for Nogami. Back by Cerezo. Dropping deep between the 2 centre halves. We've already seen a real willingness from both sides to press high up the pitch, player for player. That is very much in both of these coaches' philosophies. Matsuda on. Slightly overhit the pass though. Sanfrecce Hiroshima were appealing initially for a foul on Morishima. And there was an even more definitive foul to confirm that there was no real possibility of an advantage. Late and clumsy in on Taishi Matsumoto. Matsumoto doesn't seem in too bad a shape, which is good to see. Really good set-piece chance this for Sanfrecce Hiroshima to create something. Koto Mitsuta over it. Mitsuta's ball in. Overhit. Disappointing one in truth. Relieves the pressure on Cerezo Osaka. Just 4 points behind Sanfrecce Hiroshima in the league. These two sides fighting for those crucial spots in that top three. AFC Champions League qualification for next season. They've still got a very, very unlikely chance of winning the league, actually. Sanfrecce Hiroshima, they're 8 points behind the leaders, the Yokohama F. Marinos. 4 rounds of fixtures left. It's Kawasaki Frontale in between them as well. Kawasaki 2 points behind Yokohama. Realistically more likely to be between those top two for the J-League title. I think this is both teams' very best chance of immediate silverware. More realistically, these two are battling it out for third. Although there is Tokyo just 1 point behind Cerezo in fifth, and the Kashima Antlers and Kashiwa Reysol both a point further back, and then another point back in 6th and 7th. So from Cerezo Osaka in 4th down to Kashiwa Reysol in 7th, there's only 3 points splitting those 4 teams. Should be a very tight and exciting finish to the league season as well as the cup. Inside from Maikuma, doesn't quite work. It's beautifully linked, but touch is a bit too heavy. Good advantage played by the referee there. And now we'll come back. You can see what Matej Onjic thinks, but it did look to be a slightly late challenge. Clip forward into the channel. And Onjic not taking any unnecessary risk there. I'd say Onjic a real physical presence at the back for Cerezo Osaka. It's a real threat from set pieces as well up the other end of the field. Headed only half away, and a very speculative effort, swinging a boot at it on the half volley over the bar from Gakuto Notsuda. He's chipped in with a goal on Sanfrecce Hiroshima's route to the final. Sanfrecce suffered disappointment in Japan's other cup competition recently. Emperor's Cup defeat on penalties against Frankfurt Kofu. The match was drawn 1-1 in normal time. Of course, that option on the table today if needed to decide things. Ball forward. Well, Kato appealing for a foul. Referee Yamamoto not interested, and it's his opinion that matters the most. Helped round the corner, cleverly done by Matsumoto. Slipping the ball around here well, Sanfrecce. Nogami likes to hug that touchline. The wing-backs are really important for them in this formation. It's an intriguing tactical matchup today. 3-4-2-1 against a 4-4-2. Kato. Kato to try one, and Kato almost opening the scoring. What an effort from the striker. Well, that's why he's been Cerezo Osaka's top goal scorer in this competition right across this season. Already chipped in with 4 on the run to the final, nearly opening the scoring in it. Took a little deflection as well off Hayato Araki. He's got those fans into good voice. You could see them jumping up and down with excitement. Infectious level of enthusiasm and excitement from Cerezo Osaka supporters. First corner of this YBC J-League LEVAIN Cup final. Takuma Suzuki to swing it in. Be right-footed out swinging. He's got 6 pink shirts to aim for in the box. Only half in. Now there for Yamanaka. Headed away by Nagami. Thoughtful Kyo Kogiko on the touchline, who succeeded Brazilian Liverculpi. This calendar year, his first full season in charge. For those maybe unfamiliar, Japanese football running with seasons very much straight on the calendar year, so very much coming to an end and into final business end of the season, as that old commentary cliche goes. There'll be a bit of time off before things restart in the new year. Clip ball into the channel, just trying to test out Jonic, but Kim is alert to it. Suter trying to make a nuisance of himself, as he so often does so well. It's a really interesting system that Sanfrecce Hiroshima play, with Mitsuta and Morishima just playing off Ben Khalifa. And here is Ben Khalifa. Shepherded out by Jonic, but at the expense of a corner. First corner of this YBC J-League LEVAIN Cup final for Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Towards that far post. Suzuki can clear. Counter-attack stopped by that errant pass from Akuno. Good diving header from Akuno to help Cerezo Osaka win it back. Morishima. Karamura. See again there on that widest shot, this system in action. Sasaki and Shiotani, the two centre-backs, pulling wide. And then Nagami and Karamura, when they're in possession, Sanfrecce Hiroshima are effectively turning into wingers, hugging the touchline, providing the natural width. Of course, Slight quirk of statistics is that Junior Santos, the top goal scorer in this competition, who's scored 6 this season for Sanfrecce Hiroshima in it. And he's no longer with them for this final. He's on loan now at Botafogo in Brazil. The floated cross, danger in there. Jonic won the header, he needed to win the header. You do sometimes get finals where there's a real sense of caginess and both sides not wanting to make a mistake. You definitely couldn't say that about the opening 20 minutes or so here. You've seen no shortage of attacking intent from either team. No pocket of space here for Morishima. Just dinks it on. Now Karamura. Couldn't find a white shirt. Morishima again. And the teasing cross from Karamura. Couldn't quite find Ben Khalifa, but Sanfrecce Hiroshima looking in a good mood here with the ball at their feet. Seem confident in possession. Certainly on the front foot, there's no doubt about that. Whipped in by Matsuda. It'll run to that far post, no handball given despite the appeals. Cross deflected. Nodded out for a goal kick. Sanfrecce Hiroshima. 2 changes from that semi-final second leg I mentioned. Cerezo Osaka are unchanged. And there's no surprise, really, after they produced what was without doubt one of, if not the performance of the knockout stages so far to get them into a final against pictured there's side. Michael Skibby in charge of Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Cerezo drawing 1-1 at home against the Urawa Red Diamonds in the first leg of their semi-final in late September, when Uejo had them in front in just the second minute, but Kozumi equalised to give the Urawa Red Diamonds a crucial away goal. I'm saying that for those unfamiliar, because it is changing in other parts of the world. It's changed in, for example, the UEFA Champions League in Europe this season, that in the YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN Cup, away goals very much still used as a decider if things are level on aggregate. But having drawn 1-1, and you'd think the Urawa Red Diamonds maybe had the advantage going into the second leg and were at home. Cerezo Osaka blew them away, winning 4-0. An own goal and then goals from Akuno, Keito and Jean-Patrick gave them what in the end proved to be a pretty comfortable win. So not quite a big surprise, but certainly a surprise by the margin of victory to go away in what was expected to be a very even second leg and win like that. So it's of no shock at all that it is the exact same starting 11 from that night that he's playing here today, just over a month later in the final. Gio Kogiko leading his team. He's been an assistant here across 3 spells, built up his coaching CV 2005 to 2013. Came back as an assistant again in 2014, and then did a 5-year stint from 2016 to 2021 until getting the top job. Offside flag up against Ben Khalifa coming back. I've seen Ben Khalifa, the Swiss forward. It's been quite the tussle there against Jonic. Can really make a nuisance of himself. Isn't really a target striker. He likes to drop deep and link the play, and has a really good understanding with the likes of Matsuda and Morishima, the attacking midfielders just in behind him. Matsuda under pressure. Fans have been magnificent here at National Stadium. As a decent cross comes in, Kato was looking for it. Cerezo Osaka getting forward. They do have a bit of freedom within this system, Sanfrecce Hiroshima, for overlapping centre-backs. It's particularly Sasaki and Shiotani who like to exploit that and go forward. With Matsumoto and Notsuda, the two defensive midfielders, having the awareness to cover in behind. Good little spell this for Cerezo. Jonic. Decent crossing chance. It's a more than decent cross. And Kato was desperate to get onto the end of it, couldn't quite. Sunk to his knees in frustration, Matsuki Kato. He's a brilliant striker and he feeds off deliveries like this. Just trying to turn it goalwards using the pace on the ball. As that replay shows, he couldn't actually make contact at all. Not an easy technical skill to execute, though, it must be said. Bus stop routine very much in action from this corner. Only headed half away. Struck from distance, going to do very well to score from there, Takuma Suzuki. Suzuki Osaka had it covered and is immediately trying to launch the counter-attack. Wins the throw of Takuma Suzuki. Intriguing final to watch this. Both sides really playing front foot attacking football. Be surprised if it's goalless for too much longer, as you can see Ben Khalifa is brought down. The Swiss forward winning a free kick in a really dangerous position, a potential shooting position. You can see there Koji Toriumi just a bit late, ending up standing on the right foot of Ben Khalifa. I'm not sure if those Sanfrecce Hiroshima fans can get too much louder than they already are. I'm sure they'll find another gear if this one goes in the net. Could be Gakuto Notsuda and Makoto Mitsuda. Left and right footed options. They'll try and get past Jin Hyun Kim. Give Sanfrecce the lead. They've never won this competition. Tell you what, an opening goal wouldn't half help them make today the day they do. It's an extremely tall keeper though, Jin Hyun Kim. He's not easy to beat from anywhere, never mind a set piece. Couple trying to cause mischief just by the wall. Will it be Notsuda or Mitsuda? Straight into the wall. Disappointing one in truth, but they've managed to recycle it. Ben Khalifa makes a nuisance of himself to win it back. Ben Khalifa wins the throw. That's exactly what he gives you on the fringes. He's just a bit of a nuisance for defenders, and I mean that in the most complimentary way. Shisika Kuto Notsuda just not quite getting the required elevation. All ordered to jump. There's always a debate. There's always the consideration of adding in a defender on the, what you might call the Brozovic block move, named in honour of Marcelo Brozovic, the Croatian international who was the first to really popularise it, of having a player lying down behind the wall to protect the one where the wall jumps and the ball goes underneath it. Skibby deep in thought. Man with quite the coaching CV, managed youth teams at the Schalke under-19 side, Borussia Dortmund under-19 and second team. Germany under-18 and under-20 levels as well. Ex-assistant of the German national team as well from 2003 to 2004. And at senior levels managed the likes of Bayer Leverkusen and then Frankfurt, as well as Galatasaray in Turkey. Grasshoppers, also the Greek national team, who nearly helped take to the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Of course, the next FIFA Men's World Cup not far away now. May or may not have seen, but it's fair to say that the Japanese national team have not got an easy draw for that one by any stretch of the imagination. The campaign starts on the 23rd of November against Germany, and just 4 days later they play Costa Rica. On the 1st of December, Group E rounds off for them against another European giant, to go with Germany in the form of Spain. Almost got onto that one, Uejo. Osaka had to be alert. Worth saying as well, whilst we are on the subject of World Cups, that a draw for another FIFA World Cup is taking place in a mere matter of hours. The FIFA Women's World Cup, which is taking place in Auckland, New Zealand, not far away from now. And that's been newly expanded to 32 teams coming next summer in New Zealand and Australia. The tournament itself in 2023. And Japan's women's national team are in pot 2 of 4. It'll be intriguing to see who they end up having to face in 9 months or so. Really exciting time for football, of course, with 2 World Cups, men's and women's, on the horizon. Again, you see those 3 centre-backs spreading wide. Now Nagami tried a little flick, got his angles all wrong. Yuki Nagami, who has chipped in with a goal on the run to the final, doesn't get many. The right wing back more often acting as second assister or occasionally an assister. He's been a big part of this Sanfrecce Hiroshima side. He's the only player on either team who has made an appearance in all 12 matches, as their side have made a run all the way to the final of this competition. He's managed to hurt himself in the process of committing the foul there, Sho Sasaki. Slightly late in and on Sae Maikuma. Cerezo Osaka, of course, looking for something of revenge, you might call it, after losing 2-0 in the final last season at the Saitama Stadium 2002, one of many stadiums in this part of the world that was much built and upgraded and expanded around the 2002 Men's FIFA World Cup that was hosted by Japan and South Korea. Foul on Sasaki by Hirotaka Tameda. In fact, the foul was on Hiroaki Okuno. Has managed to escape further punishment, Sasaki. Might be a touch lucky to have not have picked up a yellow there. Wasn't the best of challenges, and Okuno was heading towards the box with some intent. Honma Suzuki over the set piece. What have Cerezo Osaka got up their sleeve? Already scored 24 goals in the run to the final. Is this number 25? Nodded down. Wasn't too far away. Kept in by Suzuki. Did manage to find a pink shirt in Hiroaki Okuno, who'd got the right side of his marker from Cerezo Osaka viewpoint. Downward header nodded just wide by Okuno, who's chipped in with a couple of goals on the run to the final. Also known for his tough tackling. More successful tackles than anybody else in the entire competition this season. It's made him a regular part of Kyo Kogiku's plans, unsurprisingly. Offside flag up against Uejo. Worth saying as well that both of these sides somewhat defied the odds to make it this far, only in the sense that the four clubs involved in obviously Champions League action got to miss out on the group stages and the playoffs. Kawasaki Frontale, the Yokohama F Marinos, Vissla Kobe and the Urawa Red Diamonds all coming in at the quarter-final stage, and knowing that they just had to win a two-legged quarter-final and then a two-legged semi-final to be here. Nodded down, but easily gathered by Kim. Gami having to chase back. Nicely carried forward by Uejo. Driven cross almost ran for Kato. Possession from Sanfrecce Hiroshima. It's been a very even final so far. Wouldn't necessarily say that either keeper has had to make a particularly brilliant save to keep it at 0-0, but definitely both been tested, and there's been a real sense of goal threat in this one consistently. Ogami. Lovely little turn and takedown as well by Morishima. Ogami again. Just trying to pick apart this Cerezo Osaka defence. A very tight, compact, very traditional 4-4-2. Sanfrecce Hiroshima in a slightly more modern 3-4-2-1. Two different systems for the two bosses in shot there, Giku and Skibby. Karamura gets the 1-2. Really well to keep that alive, Morishima, but breaks down eventually. Was a foul there. Good advantage played in favour of Cerezo Osaka. Something referee Yamamoto has done well so far, trying at all times to keep the game flowing. As well, he is one of those players that shows you every emotion that he's feeling at every moment. Mutsuki Kato dropped to his knees in frustration, able to get something on a threatening cross on in the half, and his reaction there was pretty telling as well. This is a very unthreatening cross. Flies all the way through from Gakuto Notsuda. Both of these sides in slightly patchy form coming into this one. Sanfrecce Hiroshima with 3 defeats in their last 10 across all competitions. Exact same run of form for Cerezo Osaka. Both sides losing 3 in their last 10. Not dreadful, you might say, but given their lofty ambitions, they'd have both hoped for slightly better. Sanfrecce Hiroshima winning 5 and drawing a couple. Cerezo have found things particularly difficult, just 3 wins from their last 10, and what they want to achieve across this campaign in terms of success in cup competitions and right challenging near the top of the league. They'd have hoped for better in the run-in. Just a slight clash of heads there between Matsuki Kato and the centre-half Ayoto Araki. Saying on the note of the league, these two sides in action next in the J1 League in a week's time. Sanfrecce Hiroshima playing Ricardo Consadole Sapporo, struggling somewhat in 12th of the 18 in the Japanese top flight. Cerezo Osaka facing the struggling Kyoto Sanga, who are 14th, just 2 points off the 3rd and final danger spot. If you finish 16th, you end up in a playoff. Bottom 2, 17th and 18th, are both relegated. It will be an intriguing relegation fight because Shimizu S-Pulse, who is second bottom, have 32 points. The game in hand on all the sides around them. And you can go all the way up to Shonan Bellmare in 13th. To see sides that are realistically right in the relegation hunt. The unwanted hunt to not be relegated, of course. Shonan Bellmare in 13th, down to Shimizu in 17th, separated by just 3 points across those 5 teams. Shonan Bellmare, Kyoto Sanga, Avispa Fukuoka, Gamba Osaka, and Shimizu S-Pulse. So given that, might not necessarily be the best time to be playing Kyoto Sanga. It can be really dangerous facing a team at the end of the season who are scrapping for their lives in a relegation battle. Cerezo Osaka's first game of November is against Nagoya Grampus, who of course won this competition last season, beating Sanfrecce Hiroshima in the final. Sanfrecce Hiroshima start off their November against mid-table Sagan Tosu. Here comes Sanfrecce, shot on the angle. Well, very unlikely to beat Jin Hyun Kim from there, in truth. And always looks simple from the commentary box, but that did not look like the percentage play from Nassim Ben Khalifa. Had plenty of other places to look, and used Michael Skibby, his boss, frustrated. Skibby vastly experienced, approaching 550 games as a manager. 30-year-old Ben Khalifa unable to add to his tally of 1 goal in this competition so far this season. Both sides, as you might expect of any team that's had a good cup run, have been reliant on goals from right across the team. It's not an easy tournament to win. Think of some cup competitions where you only need to win a small handful of games, maybe, and possibly can have a bit of luck play its part. Somewhat mitigated here. It is more difficult by the fact that you've got to play 2-legged matches right the way through, as well, they're left appealing for a penalty there. Sanfrecce Hiroshima. It flashes across the face of goal. Bit of space for Karamura. The wing-backs for Sanfrecce always cause problems, Nogami and Karamura. Karamura's very dangerous cross. Didn't get a final touch from Mitsuta. Players appealing to referee Yamamoto to use the technology. Yamamoto just reminding them that that's not really the way things work. Video assistant referee team behind the scenes constantly looking at everything, and they will give Yamamoto a shout in his ear if there's something that he needs to go and look at on the pitch side monitor. into the 1 minute of time added on at the end of this first half. After a very lively start, both sides have shored up a little bit defensively as the half has gone on. I say a little bit because it is still relatively open. That's that for the first half here at the Japan National Stadium. Goalless here between Cerezo Osaka and Sanfrecce Hiroshima. After a particularly bright opening 20 minutes or so where both sides were really able to get in behind each other's defences and cause all sorts of problems. Haven't quite seen an opening goal. Jin Hyun Kim and Cerezo Osaka, the two keepers, tested. Both doing what they need to keep the ball out of the net. Cerezo Osaka chasing their 5th win in this competition. Their first since 2017, just their 2nd since the mid-1980s, up against Sanfrecce Hiroshima, looking to get their name on the cup for the first time. The first half has seen both these two teams with just 4 points apart in the league, proving very hard to separate. At the break here in this YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN Cup final, it's Cerezo Osaka 0, Sanfrecce Hiroshima 0.
賞の皆様となります。賞金は後日発送させていただきますので、アプリに記載の締め切り日までに発送先をご登録いただきますようお願いいたします。本日はご当選おめでとうございました。
2022 J.LEAGUE YBC レバンカップの各表彰につきましてご紹介してまいります。優勝チームは J.LEAGUE YBC レバンカップ J.LEAGUE、そして賞金1億5000万円。準優勝チームは J.LEAGUE カップの賞金5000万円がもらえます。そして YBC はクリスタルオーナメント賞金100万円、山崎選手席1年間が贈られます。
ご来場のお客様にご案内いたします。新型コロナウイルス感染拡大防止のため、J リーグのさらに J リーグ新型コロナウイルス感染症対応ガイドラインの遵守をお願い申し上げます。声出し応援エリアの感染ルールについてご案内いたします。声出し応援エリアのお客様におかれましては、不織布マスクをご着用ください。また、声出し応援をする際は、一方向を向くようお願いいたします。禁止されている行為は、座席から移動すること、指笛など、マスの発生する応援、ハイタッチ、肩組みなど、人と接触する応援行為。続いて、声出し応援エリアでの飲食についてご案内いたします。次のように、マスクの着用をお願いいたします。声出し応援エリア内には、水、ソフトドリンク、食事をお持ち込みいただけます。ただし、エリア内での食事は、エリア全体での声出し応援開始前、ハーフタイム、声出し応援終了後のいずれかで行うようお願いいたします。アルコールの持ち込みは不可となっております。飲食中の際は、撮影はお控えください。続いて、声出し応援エリア以外のお客様へご案内をします。スタジアムでは、マスクをご着用ください。観戦時は、座席から移動することを禁止といたします。また、応援スタイルの制限がございますので、ルール遵守にご協力をお願いいたします。声出し応援エリア以外で容認されている応援行為は、横断幕の掲出、各種手拍子、応援体制など、自席で取れる乗り物の使用となっています。禁止されている応援行為は、指笛、チャント、ブーイングなど、声を出す応援、ハイタッチ、肩組みなど、人と接触する応援、お客様が行き過ぎて、ビッグフラッグを出すなど、密を作る応援になります。新型コロナウイルス感染拡大防止のため、皆様のご協力を何卒よろしくお願い申し上げます。本日は表彰セレモニー終了後、
Welcome back to the Japan National Stadium for the second half of this YBC J-League LEVAIN Cup Final. Goalless at the break. Of course, the longer that goes on being the case, the more the nerves and the tension will only ratchet up and get even greater for all involved here. It's the prospect of extra time, and that dreaded word that brings about tough and difficult emotions for football fans across the world so often. Penalties. We're a long way from that right now. Still another 45 minutes plus stoppages for either side to put their name on the trophy before further measures are needed. Off and underway for the second half then here. Cerezo Osaka in traditional pink and blue, attacking from right to left as we look at things. Sanfrecce Hiroshima changed all white strip, shooting from left to right as we look at things from our commentary box. No changes for either side at the break. Plenty of options on the bench for later on though. With 5 substitutes in both coaches' lockers if needed. It's something that has changed as a result of coronavirus across the world really. Before then it was very much free, that was the conventional figure. That's a foul. Just slightly late in there on Ben Khalifa. I mentioned in the first half he's very good at making a nuisance of himself to opposition defences. He's done exactly that there. In swinging. Headed only half clear. Nicely taken down. Didn't quite find the link up that he wanted, Notsuda. And that's a chance to build for Cerezo Osaka, who really dangerous on the counter-attack. Weijo's pass. Flipped across by Yamanaka. The most convincing bit of keeping. Kogiko left frustrated. Ryosuke Yamanaka, a left back, but very much back in name only. He's very much a modern traditional fullback. Loves to bomb down the flanks and attack. He's got 4 assists in this competition this season, which is more than anybody else. For the link-up play. Flipped inside, far too much on that. Kim can gather. Matsuda. Okuno. Patiently worked out for Yamanaka. It's been a very even final so far. Not much separating these two, and it's not really too surprising. That was very much how it was seen in the build-up to it. who you felt were the slight favourites, depending on who you asked, really. Only headed half away. Chance for Shutani to clear. Have managed to get him behind, and they've won the first corner of this second half, Cerezo Osaka. Chance here to create something. See those Cerezo Osaka fans doing everything they can to vocally suck the ball into the net. Desperate to win this trophy for just the second time since the mid-80s. They won it twice back-to-back. Corner only briefly cleared, sliced back goalwards by Uedra. Clumsy shove on Nagami, just releases the pressure. Worth saying as well, we have seen quite a few finals go into extra time and penalties in recent times. It's a pretty regulation catch for Kazuko Osako. The last one was in 2019. It's a real thriller, finishing 3-3 between Kawasaki Frontale and Contador Sapporo. 3-3 after extra time. Kawasaki won that one 5-4 on penalties. Red Diamonds won 5-4 on spot kicks as well back in 2016 after it had finished 1-1 against Gambro Osaka following 120 minutes of football. Sanfrecce Hiroshima have had the heartbreak of losing the YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN Cup Final. They had to go further than the 90 minutes, losing 5-3 after extra time to Jubilo Iwata in 2010. Hiroshima Antlers won in 2011 and 2012 after extra time. So historically it is a competition that has very often seemed to need more than the 90 minutes as he goes round the keeper and scores. They've gifted them a goal. Cerezo Osaka lead. They can't believe their luck. Matsuki Kato takes advantage. The deadlock is broken. Matsuki Kato gets his 5th in this competition across this season. But it really was handed to him. He took it so coolly, rounding Osako. Looked a completely innocuous situation. Sho Sasaki plays it back though. The weighting of the back pass is terrible. And it's a great composed finish from Kato. We've come to expect nothing less of the striker. He's 12th in all competitions this season. He's 5th in the YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN Cup. That expression says it all for Sho Sasaki. And now Sanfrecce Hiroshima have it all to do if they're going to put their name on this trophy for the first time in their history. Just as I was talking about how often in recent times this final has ended up going to extra time or penalties. Now Michael Skibby's side have to find a route back. was a game that increasingly was starting to look like a goal might be hard to come by. After an opening where both defences had looked exposed, second part of that first half and then the early part of this second half, and so neither keeper really tested much at all. Clever ball between the lines. Just trying to help it on to find Karamura. Sanfrecce Hiroshima, who are unbeaten in their first 4 games of the league season. More recently had a form of just 1 loss in 12. And they're running for the AFC Champions League spots for next season, but this cup campaign's been a big part of their season too. There was a real desire to see if this could be the season they finally won this competition. To put this in context with the defeats that they've suffered in the past, losing finalists in 2010 and 2014. Saying as well that Sanfrecce Hiroshima are one of just 2 teams in the entire history of the competition who've made it to a YBC J.League LEVAIN Cup final but never won it. And the other one, Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo, who lost in 2019. They've never been in this showpiece event before or since. Helped on by Nogami, Matsumoto. Wide for Karamura. Sasaki getting forward. Now the overlapping run, cleared by Matsuda. Just to give some further context to that, I mentioned that they're one of only 2 teams that have got to the final and never won it. 15 have across 30 years or so. As the cross comes in, but it's too close to Kim. Certainly has a real intent to get on with it. And has found a brilliant pass all the way downfield. Brilliant chance for 2-0 and a really good save from Osaka. Magnificent distribution from Jin Hyun Kim. Every inch the modern goalkeeper here. Pings it forward and nearly gets himself an assist. Finds Sayama Kuma just drifting in off that inside right flank on the counter-attack. It's magnificent goalkeeping. A lot of keepers 1-0 up just before the hour mark in a final. They start to have an eye on occupying the clock. Instead, Cerezo Osaka were hunting a second and nearly got it as well. Clipped in and headed just wide. What a chance for Jonic. Could have been 2, probably should have been 2 for Cerezo Osaka. His frustration says it all. Kogiko encouraging. He will know that was a great opportunity. I mentioned earlier on, Jonic is a real threat from set pieces. Cerezo Osaka looking to win this competition for the 5th time in their history. Just the 2nd time in its time where it's been known as the J-League Cup under various sponsorship names and guises, going back to the early 90s. So now they could have one. Dragged wide from Sho Sasaki. Loves to get forward in that overlapping centre-back role. And Khalifa again causing all sorts of problems. Sasaki setting up Mitsuta and got it all wrong. Sanfrecce Hiroshima winning it in 1973 shared, and in 1983 and 1984 when it was known as the JSL Cup. It's the original League Cup for clubs in the top levels of Japanese football. Ran from 1973 through to 1991. Looking for Kato. He leaves it. Ueju takes over. Miyada. All the way through, and the touch is errant from Matsuda. Had he taken that one down, would have been a great chance. And right now, they look a bit shell-shocked from conceding that first goal. Sanfrecce Hiroshima, you would say. Cerezo Osaka looked more likely to add a second goal. They do to find an equaliser, but that can all change in just one moment of brilliance, or as we saw unfortunately from Sho Sasaki, one mistake. Straight at Kim. Still hasn't yet had to do anything overly out of the ordinary to keep a clean sheet. Jin Hyun Kim. He's been pretty well protected. More attacking firepower coming on shortly for Sanfrecce Hiroshima, unsurprisingly. Advantage played by referee Yamamoto, who briefly went to close whistle for the free kick and then kept things going again. So you notice that top level referees will really look to do, and he has done it particularly well. It is a somewhat thankless job. Often the best thing you can hope for is to go unnoticed. Referees really getting the credit they deserve when they get it right. Nogami swings one in. Kim has to be very alert to keep it out. Easily the closest Sanfrecce Hiroshima have come to scoring. Big tall keeper in Kim got down really well at his near post there. Flying, leaping, acrobatic header from Ben Khalifa. First change of this final. And it's unsurprisingly an attack-minded one for Sanfrecce Hiroshima. We have this corner right-footed, out-swinging. Rios Sotorio from Cyprus has just come on and headed over the bar. Free-header. An easy one. It was just a touch behind Sho Sasaki. He was at fault for that first goal, would have been desperate to make up for it there. All through. Could be 2-0, slightly heavy touch from Ueju. They'll hope that doesn't come back to haunt them, Cerezo Osaka. It's a really good chance. They've had a very good spell across the last 10 minutes or so, either side of getting that goal. Recycled in there by Yamanaka. Real game of pinball around the midfield. With hot potato. Referee Yamamoto just taking a second to check on the health of Takuma Suzuki. Thankfully seems all okay to continue. Cross field and a decent header into a very dangerous area from Sasaki. With the scoreline as it is getting even more license than he normally does to get right forward in this overlapping centre-backs system that Sanfrecce Hiroshima play. Foul given, and eventually it is. There was a brief pause from referee Yamamoto. Just spotted a shirt pull in there. Something of a Cerezo Osaka sandwich Ben Khalifa ran into. Is this Sanfrecce Hiroshima's moment to get back into it? Find themselves an equaliser. Since this competition became the J.League Cup in 1992, after rebranding and restructuring. They've never won it. Ball in and headed just wide. Good awareness by Kim to leave it alone. And Khalifa left frustrated in front of goal. Creating decent chances here. See Ben Khalifa, who does already have a goal in this competition this season. Not been short of goals, Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Scored at least 2 in all but one of their group games, that being the 2-1 home loss against Shimizu S-Pulse. And then in the knockout stages, scored 4 across the 2 legs against Hokkaido Sapporo in the playoffs, 5 against the Yokohama F. Marinos between the home and away games, and then 3-2 win at Avispa Fukuoka in the first leg of the semi-final, combined with a goalless second leg on their own patch was enough to take them through. Scored 26 goals across the entire competition, Sanfrecce Hiroshima, but struggling to find one here. Change being readied for Cerezo Osaka due to the injury. Sad to see. Nothing that you want to see for anyone at any point, never mind a key moment in a final, and potentially the hero of that final for Cerezo Osaka, Mitsuki Kato, leaving on a stretcher. Holding his right thigh, seemed to know what he'd done as soon as it happened. But this is the moment he hopes will prove to be the winning goal. Ball back pass from Sho Sasaki. Kato was there, to their delight. So off Kato goes. We'll be watching from the physio room whilst getting a bit of treatment, I'd imagine. And Soto Kitano has also come on for Satoki Uejo. Yoshiki Otake on in place of Kato. Very much one of the stars of this Cerezo Osaka side. So it's a double change up front. Imagine it will not necessarily be a big change of shape here for Cerezo Osaka. Tend to stick to that 4-4-2, and it's been seeing them have a very good spell in the game recently as that's whipped in awkwardly. Just too much on it. Whistle goes against the substitute. Soteriou. Beautifully worked. Now Tamayeda slides it in behind. What a move that would have been to go a long way to sealing victory. And going 2-0 up just inside the last 20 minutes. I think it might work out that way, but pushing and probing. Corner in. Can't really get anywhere near a pink or blue shirt, and suddenly possibilities for Sanfrecce Hiroshima on the break. This is the trade-off of Cerezo Osaka pushing so heavily for a second goal. Morishima headed over. They're creating chances, Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Soteriou getting it all wrong in the air there. Cross was maybe a touch behind him though. Touch too high as well. Wasn't quite where you'd have wanted it. Sort of back pedal and get a really good jump just to get anything on the ball at all. Cypriot substitute, unable to find the target. Michael Skibby's side starting to run out of time. Don't come into this final in the best of nicks after losing 4-0 against Vissel Kobe in the league. Defeat to the mid-table side, harming their chances of qualifying for the AFC Champions League next season. So that will be a yellow card for Nassim Ben Khalifa, a frustrated forwards tackle. Khalifa just flying through against Suda and Jonic. Neither of these sides really came into this final in the best of nicks recently. Sanfrecce Hiroshima losing against Sanfrecce Kofu on penalties in the Emperor's Cup. Losing out in that final and trying to avoid making it 2 finals defeats in as many weeks. Confirmation of that booking for Ben Khalifa. Had that defeat against Vissel Kobe I mentioned, and Cerezo Osaka hadn't won in their last 3 games before this. 1-1 home draw against Shonan Bellmar, a goalless away draw at Kashiwa, and then a 4-0 loss at Tokyo. Both teams stuttering in their pursuit of AFC Champions League football next year. As for now, here comes Morishima. It's on to Karamura. Just overran it, did well to keep it alive. Now the cross. Not taken down by Kitano cleanly. Floated ball in. By Kuma's header. And then back in once more and straight at Kim. Free header 6 yards out. Easily Sanfrecce Hiroshima's best chance of this final thus far. Little dinked cross. A couple of yards either side, and that would have been a very tough one for even a keeper of Kim's quality to keep out. Now Tamayeda. Can't find Cherry Blossom shirt on the half volley. By Araki. And they're coming together on halfway. And a collision between Jonic and Ben Khalifa. Jonic gets a yellow card. There was an off-the-ball incident as well there. Ben Khalifa goes down, clutching his eye. The challenge initially was not a good one from Jonic. He then pushes Ben Khalifa, but, well, that camera angle does tell you all you need to know. You can somewhat understand why Jonic is there shaking his head, because there was off-the-ball contact, but Ben Khalifa was certainly not touched in the eye there by Jonic. That replay told us that much. Jonic gets a booking. The video assistant referee team will be having a look at this as well. It's a poor challenge, and then scuffle continued off the ball. Was certainly physical contact from Jonic on Ben Khalifa, but not near the Swiss international striker's eye. And it's of no great surprise that Ben Khalifa's managed to make a miraculous recovery. Just watch here. There's the initial challenge, and watch now. Well, there is facial contact just on the side of the, just below the left cheek of Ben Khalifa, but certainly not near his right eye. Bit of theatrics from the Sanfrecce Hiroshima striker. Not Matej Jonic's best moment though, and he could yet be further punished. Because regardless of whether the contact was in the eye or not, the fact is that it was an off-the-ball altercation after a poor initial challenge, and the referee Yamamoto has been asked to go and have another look at this. Because if that's any contact near the face, as it does look like there was in and around that cheek area, that might be enough to see this yellow card turn into red. For Yamamoto just asking to have another look. So here we are now. It's not easy because that camera angle is somewhat obscure. Ben Khalifa's having a grab of Jonic's shirt, but then Jonic does seem to make contact with Ben Khalifa. I think there's every chance this is going to be a red card. Across comes referee Yamamoto. Jonic has got a wry look on his face as if he knows what's coming here. Is the yellow card about to turn into a red? Yes, it is. A red card for Matej Jonic for that off-the-ball contact with the face of Nassim Ben Khalifa. And Cerezo Osaka are going to have to do it the hard way. A goal up but a man down with a little over 10 minutes to play. Their key Croatian centre-half is sent off for this. Just coming up there. Nassim Ben Khalifa certainly made sure the referee knew about it. Something of a moment of madness from Jonic. Just lost his cool. The challenge itself was a poor one, and the reaction was not ideal either. And now they've got to frantically, tactically reorganise Cerezo Osaka. They really didn't need that. They were in control of this final. They were only 1-0 up on the scoreboard, but they were having multiple good opportunities to get a second goal. Ekuto Notsuda comes off in central midfield, and the more attack-minded Yoshifumi Kashiwa comes on. Unsurprisingly, a tactical reorganisation, and one has to feel for Ryotaka Tameda, who is sacrificed for Ryuya Nishio, a defender who will come into something of a new look back line here. And that's late and clumsy as well. And that's going to be a yellow card. Video assistant referee team will definitely be taking a closer look at it though. Yuki Nagami this time involved. Ryusuke Yamanaka is down. And the ball had gone and both players just couldn't stop their momentum. So it's a yellow for Nagami. Stretcher is out for Ryosuke Yamanaka. This time's all going to be added on as well. There's going to be a lot of stoppage time in this final. Already spent quite a while waiting on that video assistant referee decision for the sending off. There's another look. It's flying in late, Nagami couldn't really pull out. Nagami has been a key part of this Sanfrecce Hiroshima side. He's made an appearance in every match on their run to the final. You could say the same in terms of the importance of him to his team. For Ryosuke Yamanaka, 4 assists in the competition this season, more than anybody else. It's really sad that it looks like his YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN Cup campaign will end with him being stretchered off. I'll at least hope that he'll have the significant consolation of having a winner's medal round his neck in not too long. Takeru Funaki to come on. So 2 key members of what's been a very settled back 4 for Cerezo Osaka have both gone off in a matter of minutes. Matej Jonic sent off. Ryosuke Yamanaka stretchered off. Takeru Funaki and Ryuya Nishio on. Both of them have very much been squad players for Cerezo Osaka this season, but they're now going to be needed in a major way, and you can see the belief that that red card has given the Sanfrecce Hiroshima supporters. It's now the Sanfrecce Hiroshima fans you can hear, even though they're a goal down. I hope that the recent events in this one can change the momentum of the game. Ball in, nicely worked. Hiroshima might only be into the last 6 minutes of stoppage time. There's going to be a lot of additional time here as Kim does really well. Exactly what you want from a goalkeeper. Comes a long way out and loses that big tall frame of his to gather and relieve the pressure. Battle in the stands going on as well as on the pitch. Both sets of supporters very loud in here now. 68,000 capacity here, and it is pretty much a sellout. Just late in on the substitute there has just come on, Kitano. So to Kitano going in the book for that challenge on Hayato Araki. Be interesting to see if they make further changes. Sanfrecce Hiroshima, they've only made a couple so far, with Kashiwa and Shiteru coming on. Might want Isuke Chijima or Kosei Shibasaki for extra midfield energy, try and make the most of that extra player they've got out there after the sending off of Jonic. Can't keep that one in play. So Tsuruya's reaction tells you all you need to know. Not happy at all. Hurriedly cleared. It's a pretty big pitch here at the Japan National Stadium. If they can work it wide, you would think Sanfrecce Hiroshima should be able to monopolise possession in these closing moments and really put the pressure on as they squeeze to try and drag this one into extra time. We'll be looking to their key players for a moment of inspiration. It's of Makoto Mitsuta, 23-year-old Japanese international in his first season at the club. Joint top scorer with 11 in all competitions. Alongside Tsukasa Morishima, who's also scored 11. Tsukasa Morishima, who's played his entire career here at Sanfrecce Hiroshima. I think if they can just get the likes of those two some service, they can find that equaliser. Sanfrecce Hiroshima, one of just a handful of Japanese clubs to play in the FIFA Club World Cup, a club with incredible history, 8 times Japanese champions, 3 times Emperor's Cup winners, 4 times Super Cup winners. Formed in 1938. The club name means the Three Arrows. Three meaning san in Japanese. They've never won this competition, and they're not far away from suffering 2 defeats in major finals in as many weeks after losing the Emperor's Cup final. Cerezo Osaka not far away from making things right after losing in the final against Nagoya Grampus last season. To add insult to injury, it was Mitsuki Kato, once upon a time a youth team player at Sanfrecce Hiroshima, who opened the scoring against his old club. It's his goal that's still the difference. Worked forward nicely. Chance for Soteru, who goes down under minimal to no pressure at all. Now Nagami. Nagami's cross only half cleared. Mitsuta. Morishima. Shimmies inside. Shot from distance, but it's not really going to bother Jin Hyun Kim. It's going to have to be something pretty sensational to score from there. And if the 10 men of Cerezo Osaka can keep Sanfrecce Hiroshima to efforts like that, they'll be pretty confident of seeing this one out. Late change here. Mentioned Kosei Shibasaki as someone that could come on to provide a bit of energy in the midfield area. And that's exactly what has happened. It's a double change. It's a double change I pretty much predicted could happen in the Yusuke Chajima's come on as well. And it's Tsukasa Shiotani who's been sacrificed as they try and get forward here. 9 minutes added on. I did say there would be a lot of stoppage time, folks. Hold on to your hats. Yuki Nagami off as well. I'll make it they're playing in something of a 3-4-4 almost now. Sanfrecce Hiroshima based on who they've got on. And why not? Nothing to lose. Lifted in. Half cleared, intelligently put forward, dragged wide. They're appealing for a corner and they eventually get it. Lifted in, penalty box pinball, desperate defence, ends up going over, but they're appealing for a handball here, and immediately referee Yamamoto is saying that he's got the video assistant referee team in his ear. Of course, remember the way it works is they will consistently look at everything and tell the referee when he needs to go and see an incident. Has that come off the top of the left hand of Koji Toriumi? That would appear to suggest it may well have done. Up to the refereeing team to decide. Is this final about to take another big twist? Some very nervous moments of waiting for Koji Toriumi. And fans of both sides. Well, referee Yamamoto is going to come across and have a look at this on the screen. Now, anyone who's followed the video assistant referee system in football in the years since it's been brought in knows that normally, when a referee ends up being pulled over to have a look at the incident on the screen, most of the time it tends to result in the original decision being overturned. That is what referee Yamamoto is looking at, and I suspect this is going to turn into a penalty kick. The arm is raised. He's not even jumping, Koji Toriumi. His feet are standing on the ground, which I would suspect might make up the mind of referee Yamamoto, who looks like he was peeling away there. Then heads back to the screen. Is this going to be a penalty for Cerezo Osaka? Conceded by the handball from Koji Toriumi to hand Sanfrecce Hiroshima the chance to equalise. Penalty Sanfrecce Hiroshima. A handball from Koji Toriumi. And in the 94th minute, Sanfrecce Hiroshima have a golden chance to level things. Incredible drama here at the Japan National Stadium. No shortage of advice, shall we put it, from Cerezo Osaka players surrounding the taker, which is Hiroshi Soteriu. Up against Jin Hyun Kim. Can Sanfrecce Hiroshima equalise? Or can Jin Hyun Kim be the hero? Soteriou has only scored once this season. It's only his 7th appearance of the campaign across all competitions. The Cypriot needs to be cool as anything from the spot. The substitutes can't even watch. It's Soteriou. Scores! 1-1! Soteriou is cool as anything, and now he can let all the emotions out. In the 96th minute, Sanfrecce Hiroshima, who've never won this competition, who've lost in 2 finals before, and who lost the Emperor's Cup final last week as well, may yet be about to win this one. At the very least, they'll hope they've dragged it into extra time. Waited for Jin Hyun Kim to move, just rolled it the other way. And there is yet hope that today will not be another disappointing day in a major final for Sanfrecce Hiroshima. We've had so much heartbreak in them across the years and in recent times. The bow and arrow celebration from Soteriou. Well, this place really is bouncing now. If your colours are purple and black. We are a long, long way from done here. How the dynamics of game of football can change so quickly. And a penny for the thoughts of Matej Jonic. You may remember. Well, it feels like a long time ago already because so much has happened since. Jonic hurling Nassim Ben Khalifa to the ground, then making contact with Ben Khalifa's face with his arm, his flailing arm in frustration. Jonic was sent off, going down to 10 when Cerezo were in control of the game, just handed Sanfrecce Hiroshima a glimmer of hope. And that glimmer of hope has eventually blossomed into an equaliser. The quiet first half has certainly had a frantic second, and now we are mere moments from extra time. What composure from that man there. Soteriou, the substitute. Soteriou's composed penalty looks to be taking us to extra time. A quite extraordinary late twist. Into the last minute of the minimum 9 added on. Because of the goal, substitutions and the other delays that we've had in stoppage time, there may well be some further additional time. It's often forgotten that that figure of 9 is given not as a maximum but as a minimum. It's then at the discretion of referee Yamamoto to add on further time. So long way left in this one, folks, it would seem. Unless Sanfrecce Hiroshima are about to nick it right at the death of the 90 minutes here. And I say 90 minutes because, of course, it's been 90 minutes at all. just about to tick on into the 101st minute. Crossing only half cleared. We are set to enter extra time for the first time in a final since 2019. Where Sanfrecce Hiroshima lost in extra time against Jibiro Iwata in 2010. It's their late drama, Mitsuta. His cross, headed in! Sanfrecce Hiroshima have surely won it! With pretty much the last kick of this final. Incredible! 2 goals in 5 minutes to come back against the 10 men of Cerezo Osaka. Piros Soteriou's the hero. You couldn't write it. Sanfrecce Hiroshima are surely going to win the YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN Cup for the first time in their history. Just turned in by Soteriou, really clever first time, instinctive finish. He'll get a booking for the celebration, not that he'll care. You can see Matsuka Kato, the man who had Cerezo Osaka in front, absolutely crestfallen. There'll barely be time to restart the game. Utterly extraordinary. You could write it as a fairy tale. You'd barely believe it. Piros Soteriou comes off the bench and scores in the 96th minute, and then in the 101st, one of the longest periods of stoppage time that there's pretty much ever been in a final. Michael Skibby remains composed on the touchline. His side are moments away now from celebrating. Who'd have thought they'd be saying that 5 minutes ago? Sent forward. Is there time yet for Cerezo to take it into stoppage time? Goodness me. Shot from Ryan Ishio. Gathered by Kazuke Osaka. Well, they nearly did make it 2-2. The defender trying his luck on the half volley. Just about kept out. Confirmation there of Soteriou's booking. They've done it! Piros Soteriou is the hero. 2 goals in 5 minutes. As extraordinary a way to win a final as you could possibly imagine. And Sanfrecce Hiroshima, who lost the Emperor's Cup final a week ago, win the YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN Cup for the first time in their history. They get redemption for that final defeat last week in the Emperor's Cup. They get redemption for losing in the final of this competition in 2010 and 2014. Complete heartbreak for Cerezo Osaka, who led thanks to Matsuki Kato and were in control of this one. It was their game to lose, and somehow they lost it. Mate Onjic sent off in the 79th minute after an off-the-ball altercation with Nassim Ben Khalifa, and suddenly Cerezo Osaka were down to 10 and they lost control of the game. Sanfrecce Hiroshima built pressure and it told late on. Winning the penalty from Koji Toriumi's handball. Soteriou, the substitute, was as composed as one can possibly be from the spot. And then moments later, his instinctive finish from a corner won them it. Look at the emotion to Sho Sasaki, who made the mistake for the first goal.
はい、チームを叩いてやってください。ありがとうございます。ありがとうございました。おめでとうございます。佐々木翔選手でした。
What a moment for Sho
三田
Sasaki.
誠選手です。劇的ゴールへとつながるコーナーキック、どんな気持ちでしたか？
いやもう本当に中にたくさん競れる選手がいるので、もういいところに蹴れば点取ってくれると思って、思い切って蹴ってしっかりと合わせてくれたので良かったです。
天皇杯の悔しい思いから今日に臨みました。改めて多くのファンサポーターが力を送りました。どんな気持ちだったんでしょうか？
本当に悔しい思いをさせてしまった分、結果で恩返ししたくて、1週間頑張ってきたんですけど、それが本当にタイトルとして恩返しすることができて、本当に広島の方々みんなに感謝したいです。
おめでとうございました。三田誠選手でした。
ありがとうございました。
Well, you could just see what that means to Sho Sasaki and Makoto Mitsuta. So Tsuyu, the hero. Sho Sasaki must be the most relieved man in the world right now. It was his back pass that allowed Mitsuki Kato to open the scoring. Then Soterio scores twice late. And that is the power of live sport and the emotions it can bring. Sasaki, Sanfrecce Hiroshima's club captain, and well, this is a day where it's about so much more as well than just the game itself. Remember, we had that minute silence pre-match from Matsuda Kudo, the former Sanfrecce Hiroshima player who at just 32 years old passed away overnight shortly after brain surgery, having been in intensive care. His shirt being worn right around the ground today by Sanfrecce Hiroshima supporters. As for Cerezo Osaka, you can chuck in all the cliches you want. Absolutely gutted, distraught, devastated. They won this competition and the Emperor's Cup in a cup double back in 2017. Haven't tasted silverware since. Runners-up last season and runners-up once again. Lost 2-0 to Nagoya Grampus last season. And this season we're in control of the game for so long before losing it late. Still plenty to play for them in the league. But they have been struggling in that as well. Winless in their last 4 league games going into this final. Currently 4 points behind Sanfrecce Hiroshima in the Japanese top flight. The race for the top 3 and AFC Champions League qualification for next season, a very tight race with just 5 points between Sanfrecce Hiroshima in 3rd and Tokyo in 5th, 6 points between them and 6th, for 7 points between Sanfrecce Hiroshima in 3rd and Kashiwa Reysol in 7th, with Kashima Antlers, Tokyo and Cerezo Osaka in the race. But for now, Sanfrecce Hiroshima can celebrate. And won't that feel good? They win this competition for the first time. They avenged that loss in the Emperor's Cup final last week too. Quite an extraordinary turnaround. As dramatic late on in the final as you could possibly imagine, really. And the contrasting emotions that follow pouring out. Cerezo Osaka looks shell-shocked. They can't work out how they've ended up losing this one. Sanfrecce Hiroshima sat in 3rd. I feel like if they can now go on and secure AFC Champions League football for next season, they really will feel somewhat content with how their overall campaign's gone. Definitely a heck of a lot better than just about 15 minutes or so ago when it looked like it would be 2 losses in 2 major finals in as many weeks. Great to see plenty of sportsmanship between both teams as well. I'll be back with you for the presentation. The silverware will be handed out and Sanfrecce Hiroshima will get their hands on the YBC J.League LEVAIN Cup for the first time in their history. After Hiro Soterio's late double It finishes here at the Japan National Stadium. Cerezo Osaka 1, Sanfrecce Hiroshima 2.
皆さん、セレッソ大阪選手に今一度盛大な拍手をお願いします。
Cerezo Osaka banging applause as they collect their runners-up medals and trophy. The faces of those players tell you everything that you need to know. They were mere moments away from winning this final. I'm sure there will be recriminations as to how they went from a position of such control to, particularly after Jonic's sending off, and succumbing to lose it. Not even take the game into extra time, having been 1-0 up and very much in the ascendancy. Now, having waited patiently for Cerezo Osaka to collect their runners-up medals for the second season in a row, your new YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN CUP champion Sanfrecce Hiroshima can have their moment. Great credit to Cerezo Osaka though. Through Group A, finishing second. In a group with the Kashima Antlers, Gamba Osaka and Oita Trinita. Defeat Shonan Bellmare in the playoffs, Kawasaki Frontale in the quarterfinals. Nara Red Diamonds in the semi-finals, but succumbed to Sanfrecce Hiroshima in the final. Captain Sho Sasaki collects the trophy. Thinking, if he was totally honest, he would have, if he was asked in the 95th minute what he thought the chances were of his side, not only winning the final, but winning it in the 90 minutes. He said that it's been something of a surprise. Sanfrecce Hiroshima winning this competition for the first time in their history. They were knocked out in the group stage last season, twice losing finalists in 2010 after extra time, in 2013 losing 3-2 against Gamba Osaka when they were 2-0 up in the final. huge moment for this club. Did win the J1 League 4 times across a spell of 8 seasons. In 2008, 2012, 2013 and 2015 in a golden era. But this is their first major piece of silverware in 7 seasons since then. It's a huge day for Sanfrecce Hiroshima. It's a devastating, disappointing day for Cerezo Osaka. And the number 20 there, Cerezo, very much the star, having come on to score twice in the 6th minute and 11th minute of stoppage time. And now here comes their moment to enjoy it. Your winners of the 2022 YBC J.League LEVAIN Cup. For the very first time in their history, of Sanfrecce Hiroshima. They lost the Emperor's Cup final a week ago, but today it is victory in the most dramatic of circumstances. 2 stoppage time goals to avenge those losses in the final of this competition back in 2010 and 2014. What a moment for them. The celebrations will go long on into the night, you'd imagine. Plenty of time to celebrate as well, of course, with this being a lunchtime kickoff. As all eyes are on Cerezo, who scored those 2 goals. He's only really been a squad player this season in truth, but he stepped up when they needed him most. He only made 6 appearances across all competitions this season before coming on in the final. And he's player of the match in this final. Pretty much the easiest player of the match decision in history, in truth. Having come on and scored twice. Sanfrecce Hiroshima, your victors, and do hope you've enjoyed our coverage across the season on the J.League YouTube page, live and free across the world. Great to give a global platform to football from this part of the world, as we've covered a game in every round of fixtures right from the start of the group stages in late February to this, what has been the 13th game of both teams' epic campaigns, coming through the group stages, the playoffs, the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. Two-legged knockout football, only adding to the drama. As again the olays and the excitement starts. Sanfrecce Hiroshima, your winners. Eventually their priorities will turn back to the league, of securing that top 3 spot in AFC Champions League football next season. Currently sat in 3rd. Ironically, their nearest challengers are Cerezo Osaka, 4 points behind them with 4 league fixtures left in the season. But for now, they can enjoy victory in the cup here. Cerezo just being set up for a post-match chat.
国立競技場の皆さん、MVP を祝しましょう。ピロストティリュー選手、おめでとうございます。Congratulations, シンガリティリア。喜びの一言を聞かせてください。
Sanfrecce family, omedetou! I think we deserve this cup. I would like to say thank you to my teammates, to the supporters. Until the end, we support us, and finally we got this trophy. This is for you guys.
まず
サポーターの皆様と、チームメイトに、感謝の気持ちで、サポーター、今まで応援してくださった、皆様に、このトロフィーはみんなのために、ありがとうございます。
おめでとうございます。さあ、途中から入ってきました。そして劇的な PK、 さらに満田選手からの素晴らしいコーナーキック、右足合わせてゴール。プチ実況してしまいましたが、振り返ってみてください。お願いします。
Okay, when we won the penalty, I had the confidence, so I took the ball and I scored. And at the end, and the corner kick, we knew that we all players want to win, and we go for it, and we go for to score a goal. And finally, the ball came to my leg, and I shoot in the goal. That's it.
まずPK は自信持って、蹴りました。そしてコーナーキックの時はみんなの気持ちが、決めようという気持ちが強くて、多分そういうふうに伝わって、自分にボールこぼれたというふうに思っています。決めてよかったです。
素晴らしいパフォーマンスでした。Outstanding performance. Now, how will you celebrate? どうやってお祝いするんでしょうか。この MVP、 そして初カップタイトル。
How we celebrate?
改めておめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
I hope you've enjoyed our coverage from here at the National Stadium in Japan, where Sanfrecce Hiroshima have put their name on the YBC J.LEAGUE LEVAIN Cup for the very first time in their history. Having suffered heartbreak in the final twice before in 2010 and 2014, it is they who come from behind to win it thanks to 2 goals in stoppage time for Cerezo Osaka. The Cypriot very much their hero, helping them to get the winning side of things in a final after losing on penalties against Sanfrecce Tofu in the Emperor's Cup showpiece last time out.